Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with MajorLeagueTrading.com coming at you with your morning trade plan. It is March 11th, 2019, Monday here, guys. And for this week, the bigger news events, Tuesday, 8:30 CPI, and then there's going to be a Parliament Brexit vote sometime, maybe on Tuesday. Wednesday, 8:30 core durable goods orders, and Thursday, Friday, we're going to have Bank of Japan overnight. We're gonna have the rates before the bell opens this morning. 8:30 retail sales. After the bell, 10 a.m. business inventories. 11:30 3-month bill auction, 6-month bill auction, 3-year note auction, and 7 p.m. Chair Jerome Powell will be speaking. Trend bias to the prior day. ES is bearish. Nasdaq bearish, Dow bearish, Russell bearish. Overnight bullish ES, Nasdaq neutral on the Dow, bullish on the Russell on the shorter term time frame. Bearish ES, Nasdaq, Dow, and Russell, and on the midterm time frame, bullish ES, Nasdaq, Dow, neutral, Russell. Longer term time frame, we do remain bullish in all 4 of those indexes. Moving on to our previous day's summary for the S&P 500. The bell to bell high, 27.49 half. Bell to bell low down at 27.26 half. Settlement was 27.52. Value area high, 27.44 half. Value area low, 27.31. European close, 27.39. Volume was 1,028,000 contracts, with the overnight high here at 27.60 and the overnight low 27.3675. Floor trader pivot point support and resistance levels: R4A 27.98, R3 27.8175, R2 27.6575, R1 comes in at 27.5875. The pivot point 27.4275, S1 27.3575, S2 27.1975, S3 27.1275, and S4A 27.06. For our 10-day range analysis, the bell-to-bell session of the prior day, 23 points, median's 21. The entire session had 30.25, the median 22.75. Overnight, pretty big, 29, which is more than double our median, and then the first hour came in at 11. Index strength percentage change, even with that big top to bottom move. ES closed down, Nasdaq closed down, the Dow squeaked out a gain, and Dow's actually the weakest market right now, and the Russell squeaked out a little gain here too. So we had some mixed markets, and over the last 5 days, you can see the Russell has just been destroyed to the downside. Down 4% over the last 5 days. So the Russell really heavy selling last week, and the Russell, began our sell-off down on the larger time frame when we last year. So it's going to be something to pay attention to this week. Let's go ahead and move into some of these levels. I'll start off with the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq has this full halfway back short that's traded here at 70.88. 70.88. I think the Nasdaq's like the one market that I actually, let's see here, there is very few of these markets that actually broke or held their extensions or their sequences that in my opinion we should have held. So we had this high to high sequence from the 18th to high that I was looking for to trade. Now, rollover always makes it tricky because we can hold in one contract and not in the other. So this is, we are now, just be aware, we have broke the continuous extension. This 61.8 is broke. But if I go to NQ, I just want to check NQ M19 and see if that broke the same draw. And it did. So we have broken the continuous and the June contract extension short. And because we have broken that level, this halfway back short setup for me, I'm anticipating to have a reaction. So we're going to be going into the morning at a halfway back short setup. Really, to confirm bulls moving forward, we're going to need to break above the 61. So that's all the way up at 71.17. That could also happen here today. But the thing is, because we've pierced this 61 on the bottom side of the range, I don't have that much confidence on bulls continuing through here. We should have held above that if we were going to aggressively continue. So I'm going to be watching that pretty closely. The oil market, and I talked about this on Friday, this was a fantastic entry into the trend in oil. Now, 54.56 was the full 50% retracement from the 11th. So February 11th to the high of March 1st, halfway back, 54.56, fantastic reaction. I mean, we just traded that, ripped up, moved into a halfway back long, broke out, and then we've moved into extension. So what I'm looking for, and we'll continue to look for until the sequences broke this week, is the high of that extension. It's like, I think it's 55.39 the high. We have just came off our 38% retracement, and that does target up into 57.12. So oil, I really like the technical way that it's moving right now, and I do anticipate 57.12 profit targets to be hit, which lines us up from the highs of Tuesday. And then, you know, the seller should come back in, maybe take us to a same anchor new high. But that's the sequence right now that I have in oil. The Dow. So the Dow here is the weakest market in the overnight session. And I don't know if anybody heard, but there was an airplane crash involving a Boeing plane, and it was the second, it's called their 737 MAX. Apparently the plane's been in service for 2 years, and there's already been 2 completely fatal crashes where everybody has died. So the Dow is selling off on that news because the Boeing stock is a large part of the Dow. And the last 737, I think it took a full 8 years, I think I read, in service, a full 8 years in service before there was ever a crash. Now we've had 2 in 2 years. So there very well could be some serious problems with the Boeing 737 MAX, and I kind of don't want to fly them. That's pretty crazy. There's not many commercial airline jets crashing. But yeah, so with that being said, this was also basically a technical setup. So the high of Monday too low had that halfway back short. We completed profit targets on Friday. There was an extension short that had a reaction. We broke that extension and we failed to hold our long, and instead we've come off the halfway back short from next Tuesday. Now, Dow's the weakest here. The downside target's 25,094. I do still think it's possible. And watch the Dow, because the Dow's leading down, like, this is going to continue with my theory that I think we're coming into deeper pullbacks. I don't know where we're going to stop yet. I have like 3 theories. One is we're going to come into the extension from the beginning of the year to high. Okay, that's one theory, and that would be the first one we'd come into. But we have to confirm all of these support levels. We have to confirm them. The other possibility, full halfway back long for the year, which wouldn't happen for like another 600 points, or no, more than that. That's another 1,000 points below, basically. So that is far, far below. And then also the full halfway back long from the lows of 2018. So all of those are possibilities, and even though we're gapping up in these other markets here, this Dow, if we were really, really strong, the Dow would not be down 230 points regardless of a airplane crash. So literally that's why the Dow is down significantly lower. Gold, guys, we had this extension here in gold to the upside on Friday that had a 38 test, and then so far here we've traded into the 50 at 1294. If we continue to hold above this 1293 level, I'm anticipating gold to get a continuation breakout and possibly get all the way up to like 1309. So 1309. So I'm just going to be watching this closely, see if we can break above, I'd like to start seeing us get back above 1298, 1299, but this extension, let's see here. this extension here we need to break above, because there's also an opposing extension short from the low of the 21st to low, but that opposing extension short has been front run. It was front run at 1301 half, so front run by 6 ticks for a fill. If we can come up through that for a second test, I believe we could break that short and begin completing this long. But gold had a super aggressive selling pressure, and it's come back to, like, in my opinion, some pretty good support. This level has basically been we've been unable to breach below it the entire year. And this is where the rally had begun on the 25th. So this very well may be a turning point in gold, and I think where it ends up today, where gold ends up finishing today, if we do get a continuation rally, we're going to want to pay attention to that moving forward, because this could be a very solid area that the market pivots from moving forward. Okay, for the S&P 500 here, guys, once again, last week we had full halfway back shorts complete. So high of the gap up Monday, traded a short on Tuesday, completed on Thursday, continued all the way down into Friday, and then in fact we began holding extensions on Friday that broke at close. The extensions broke at close, and what I want to really watch here is this halfway back short, okay, from last week's Tuesday's high low. Unless we can break above that, it should just be sellers all day. But what I'm looking at is that the Wednesday high here, too low, which is the last time we traded that 50, too low, has had sellers. At the same time, there was like a little bit of a long in the overnight session that got a target there as well. So I am looking really at 59.5 to 62 right off in the morning as a very strong resistance level. And then the red line I have marked above is the full halfway back short from the high of Monday to low. We are in a downtrend, and longs are not what they used to be until we can break above a full 61.8. Until we can break above a full 61.8. So we're going to find out this week if we can do that. Otherwise, guys, if we can, if these end up being the highs we see sellers off the open, we can't breach 67s here, we're going to be working our way down to 27.10, and then really just on that higher time frame, there's no support that I can draw here there's no halfway back here that held. That is a standard sequence that I draw. Of course, if you take every candle and draw it to a new high, sooner or later you're going to find something that holds. But to me, none of that is in sequence. I believe that we need to come into either this extension at this point in time, because this was the level I was looking at, and it was the 18th high. That's broken. Okay, we didn't hold that. That's broken. So my anticipation is either this extension, which means no support till 2707, that's 50 points below, or possibly if we get any weaker than that, guys, 2672, then 2629, and then we could possibly sell off as low as 2668. Who knows? Maybe it becomes more of that. Obviously, we have to diagnose the market day by day and sequence by sequence. So we're not going to try to predict things. We're just saying, hey, if we stay below here, we're most likely going here, etc. So right now, that's really my opinion, is that if we do stay below this 67.5 here today, we're going to rotate down into that 27.10. Okay, and that's a fat profit target. That from that entry, which is right around 27.60, that's 50 points. Okay, and this very well could be another ugly week here. All right, and then last but not least is the Russell, which was the weakest market, down 4% on the prior week. This is not even the extension I was looking at was the 1489 to high. That broke, okay, way before the other markets. I would not anticipate any support until the extensions from the beginning of the year, the 3rd, which is the first trading day, and that doesn't come into play here until 1511, so 22 points below, and then we very well could crack that and head down to 1483. Now, the Russell's extension sequence which began from the Monday low to low. Monday low to low. You could draw it to the new low, and that's going to give you a 1535 resistance level. But the Russell does not prove bulls anything unless we can break above 1545, and then they have a chance to pull back. But right now we have a very aggressive extension sequence in the Russell, and the trend is down. We'll see what the market does here at open, but really this is what I have for all of these indexes. Oil is in a probably the best trend out to the long side, and the Dow right now is obviously the weakest market because of Boeing. For the indexes, we'll have to see if these other markets continue to fail at these higher time frame resistance levels, and if they do, I do think we have another major week down. So we're quite at a turning point pretty early here this morning. That's going to wrap it up for my morning trade plan. Thank you for watching, everybody, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Everybody have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you guys in the MLT Power Hour. Take care.